Hey guys, how's it going? Richard here with Alien Bros. I apologize for taking so long to put this video out. It took a lot more research and fact checking than I thought it would. I promise the next one will not take this long to get out there. If you guys want updates on when my videos will be coming out, you can follow my Facebook page. It's called The Government is Watching. The link to the page will be down in the description of this video. So let's go ahead without further ado and get on the main topics of this video. In a major breakthrough study, scientists at Brown University in the United States have found evidence of tectonic plates pushing against one another, a process known as subduction, producing the energy needed for life on Europa, meaning that the same world that we already suspected could have life due to its liquid water oceans under its icy shell is now much more likely to have life because of the fact that it now has the energy needed to produce it. So, Brandon Johnson, an assistant professor in the Department of Earth, Environmental, and Planetary Sciences at Brown University, said, if indeed there's life in that ocean, subduction offers a way to supply the nutrients that it would need. Such nutrients include oxidants, which are electron-stripping substances that are common on Europa's surface and that could help provide an energy source for life. On Earth, subduction is driven primarily by temperature differences between relatively cool, dense rocky plates and the super hot surrounding mantle. Europa's icy surface means that the heat cannot be the driving force, but the researchers claim that it does not mean subduction cannot happen. According to Mr. Johnson's team computer models, they suggest that Europa's ice plates can indeed dive, if they are saltier than their surroundings, that is. The assistant professor said, adding salt to an ice slab would be like adding little weights to it, because salt is denser than ice. So, rather than temperature, we show that differences in the salt content of the ice could enable subduction to happen on Europa. It's fascinating to think that we might have plate tectonics somewhere other than Earth. Thinking from the standpoint of comparative planetology, if we can now study plate tectonics in this very different place, it might be able to help us understand how plate tectonics got started on Earth. The news comes as scientists working at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland may have found compelling evidence Pluto could support life. New research suggests that distant worlds such as Pluto and others such as Eris could have watery oceans sloshing beneath their icy exterior. Lead author Prabal Saxena of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland said, these objects need to be considered as potential reservoirs of water and life. If our study is correct, we now may have more places in our solar system that possesses some of the most critical elements needed for extraterrestrial life. Now, this is something we have all speculated for a while since we were told about the oceans underneath Europa and Enceladus' ice shells, not counting Pluto. We had no idea that Pluto could support life until now. So, when we found out that there is liquid water, these oceans on the moons, immediately we figured out that there was a huge chance that they would support life of some form. And, you know, it's got to. Where there's water, there's life, and it will be alien life. So that is just the fact of the matter. This discovery is upping the odds to a point that there is almost guaranteed to be some form of life on Europa. Now, think about this for a second. If Europa and Enceladus or Pluto were to harbor life, two moons and a dwarf planet in our own solar system, then are we really such a fluke? Of course, scientists have been speculating for a while now that there has to be intelligent life somewhere else in the universe, and by no means am I saying the life on Jupiter's moons is intelligent. However, what I am saying is that maybe this is evidence that there is an abundance of life all throughout the universe in our own galaxy, and possibly or even our solar system. We have been saying this for a long time, and we have seen plenty of evidence showing that space has a highway of UFO activity, but doesn't this seem like the odds of more advanced beings visiting us and existing are rising with every new discovery? I seriously believe NASA is simply drip-feeding us information to prepare us for the day they finally tell us all that the alien phenomenon is real. However, when they will reveal it, we have no way of knowing. In my last video, I told you guys about a supposed delay NASA announced in finding of extraterrestrial life. In reality, we think this is simply a delay on disclosure. In a few videos back, we also covered a news story from NASA where they said they were confident they would find alien life in the next 20 years. And if you haven't seen either video, you should definitely go check them out because there is a lot of good information in them to digest. We think they likely just changed their minds and decided we weren't ready for disclosure to occur that soon. There's plenty of evidence that we've shown in past videos from our channel and other credible sources all over YouTube and the rest of the web showing that they have been in contact and known about the alien phenomenon since at least a month before the Roswell crash. The reason is because there was actually another famous UFO crash that occurred before the Roswell crash about a month before it, and that crash is the Maury Island UFO incident. We have covered this in a past video, but for those of you that are new and might not have heard of it, the crash is an incident that took place on June 21st, 1947, and was claimed to have been witnessed by Fred Crisman and Harold Dahl. They claim to have seen falling debris and received threats by men in black following sightings of unidentified flying objects in the sky over Maury Island and Puget Sound. The FBI file noted that Dahl stated, if questioned by the authorities, he was going to say it was a hoax because he did not want any further trouble over the matter. Crisman and Dahl said they were harbor patrolmen on a workboat who saw 6 donut-shaped objects in the sky near Maury Island. According to Crisman and Dahl, one of the objects dropped a substance that resembled lava or white metal onto their boat, breaking a worker's arm and killing a dog. Dahl claimed that he was later approached by a man in a dark suit and told not to talk about the incident. The story was later retold in Gray Barker's book, They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers. The reason why we think this was around the time that the government was already aware of the alien phenomenon is because the men in black were obviously already formed. We have multiple eyewitness accounts of the men in black and many people claiming to have been in contact with them and interrogated by them. The most well-known one is actually one where they were caught on camera in a hotel lobby in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. The picture you're seeing now is from the surveillance footage from the hotel. The story starts with 2 UFO sightings report that were made by 2 employees at the Niagara Falls Hotel. They claim to have seen a large silent triangle UFO that hovered over the Niagara Falls and then slowly moved away. The UFO sightings occurred on 2 occasions, October 14, 2008, and the second about 2 weeks later. In fact, a UFO report was picked up in the local newspaper. Niagara this week on November 7, 2008. The witness said it was about 10:30 p.m. on October 14th when he was working at one of the hotels overlooking the falls. My security officer came out to point that he was looking out over the river and said either someone went into the river and they were looking for them, or that's a UFO. I've never seen a bright light like that, said the witness. It wasn't pointing down, it was pointing right at us. And the witness said, just before the object got onto the falls area, it dimmed out a little, and that if it had continued on the same path, it would have gone directly over top of him. When it was over the river, it seemed closer and lower, said the witness. It seemed to be 50 to 75 feet over the hotel. The witness then said that the object approached the hotel and it seemed to slow down. It was directly over top of him. He said it was big, black, and triangular with a big light on the front and a pulsating red light akin to a heartbeat underneath. The witness said during the time of the night there wasn't a lot of traffic or street noise and that you could have heard a pin drop. He said the object didn't make one sound. In the second sighting, the same witness happened to be outside at 1 a.m. and saw another triangle UFO. This one was higher and traveled over the Niagara River, west to east, until it was out of sight. The hotel staff say that these 2 very strange-looking men in black came looking for the hotel manager and asking about the UFO sightings. We don't have details on exactly what was asked. However, the hotel manager was out at the time, so there were 2 staff members that talked to the men in black in his place. In asking for the manager, there were several things that disturbed the staff members greatly. The hotel manager describes his details and the recollection of his events. And we would have shown the actual video footage from the hotel lobby that was caught on their security cameras. However, there is a copyright issue because another UFO investigation group that was originally investigating the footage copyrighted it, and we are unable to actually show it. But we are showing you a picture from that of the 2 men in black. So that's the best we could do for this video itself. However, we will post a link to the video of the original Men in Black walking through the lobby down in the description. If you feel that you would like to watch it, it's there. So, what made the hotel staff believe that they were dealing with something alien, or at least something very, very strange, was because the bellmen described them as being odd-looking, really tall, and of identical height. They wore the exact same clothes. They had the exact same faces, like they were twins, wearing the exact same outfit, which included black suits, black trench coats, and old-fashioned fedora hats. They also had extremely pale skin to the point it freaked the bellman out. The next day, the tour guide reported that they said strange things she didn't understand, and spoke about government conspiracies that made no sense. She also said they scared her because they had no facial hair, no eyebrows, and no eyelashes. Their hair looked like a wig that was attached to their fedoras. Their eyes were very big, very blue, and almost hypnotizing. They did not blink, even once, and somehow seemed to know what she was thinking. Although she couldn't describe how she sensed that they knew what she was thinking, she was frightened enough to feel that she needed to think about something else so they couldn't read her mind. There is also an interesting location where these men in black have claimed to have been sighted a lot by multiple different people. That place is the Dugway Proving Grounds in Utah. The Dugway Proving Ground is a military base, and a lot of people have been saying that these men in black show up anytime someone gets too close to the base. It has been called the new Area 51, or more commonly Area 52, by many of the people from the area. It is rumored that they're reverse engineering UFO technology there, just like at S4 in Area 51. I don't know exactly how legitimate these claims are, but there is a decent documentary that was done by the History Channel regarding this area and the Men in Black sightings. It's on YouTube, and I'll leave a link down in the video description so you guys can watch it if you have any free time and feel like you're interested. Normally, you don't see much of anything past witness testimony in these documentaries, but something happened in this documentary that actually made me think it was worth watching. They claim to have been filmed and spied on by real men in black near the base, and whether it was staged or not, I don't know. To be quite honest, I doubt it was, considering they have never done anything like this in their past documentaries, but I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Either way, it's still interesting none the least. So, since I'm sure you guys are probably interested, I'll give you guys a bit more info about the Dugway Proving Grounds, which for the sake of time, I will simply be calling Area 52. Area 52 is a U.S. Army facility established in 1942 to test biological, chemical, and incendiary weapons located about 85 miles or 140 kilometers southwest of Salt Lake City, Utah, and 13 miles south of the 2,624 square mile Utah Test and Training Range, forming the largest overland special use airspace in the United States. In 1968, more than 6,000 sheep were killed in the Dugway sheep incident. In 2015, it was revealed that the Dugway lab had inadvertently shipped live anthrax spores, and the sheep were exposed to them, and this is what caused the sheep's death. So, what we know about this base is the obvious stuff that we have been told, and what has been speculated comes from eyewitness testimony and evidence. To begin, let's go over what the military has told us. They are for sure testing highly advanced weaponry, especially chemical and biological weaponry at this base. There are areas around Area 52 which are considered to be public land, where the military has advised against civilians going due to contamination from chemical and biological weapon testing done during Project Sphinx in 1945. The goal of the tested weapons was for reducing caves and underground fortresses. The reason the military chose this location in Utah was because they needed the underground mines in the area in order to achieve their end goal. A man named Jesse Fox Cannon leased the property to the United States Army for just $1 on the promise that the property be restored to its original condition upon completion of the project. In the 6 months that followed, the Army had dropped 3,000 rounds of ammunition and 23 tons of chemical weapons on the property. More than 60 years later, the land continues to be littered with hazardous waste and is deemed unsafe for civilians. The Cannons have taken this issue to court without success. They lost in August of 2003 when the 10th District Court of Appeals ruled against them. Some of these weapons tests involved goats and rabbits, all of which were killed in horrific ways. The Army wishes to expand the base's restricted area, either because the area outside of it is still contaminated from the weapons test, or because you can drive right up to the edge of their proving ground and watch them. It is likely a combination of both reasons. A shock to most people living in this area of Utah is the fact that over 1,421 square miles of public land off the military bases are all on U.S. Bureau of Land Management areas and are also considered possibly contaminated with unexploded ordnances. Numerous accounts of strange unexplained occurrences have also been documented here. There have been sightings of strange creatures, missing time, and abductions that have all been reported. For example, a few years ago, a man named Joseph M. Bushling, a soldier stationed at Dugway in 2011, went missing the night of May 8th after driving into the desert, running out of gas, and attempting to walk back to the base. He never arrived back at Dugway and was never heard from again. After his disappearance, the Army automatically classified him as a deserter, but due to the circumstances of Bushling's disappearance, he is considered to be in grave danger. His family fears he was met with foul play. Others think it was something more sinister. We believe he was possibly abducted by aliens and never returned, or was abducted by people. However, we feel the people theory to be a bit unlikely. He was pretty much in the middle of nowhere and was a trained soldier. If he were to come across some people that wanted to do harm to him, he likely could have defended himself, and at the very least, we would have found at least one shred of evidence that would be pointing to human attackers or abductors. This is only our opinion though, so take this story how you want to and draw your own conclusions. Either way, this case remains unsolved. The reason it is suspected that Area 52 is reverse engineering alien technology is the amount of UFO sightings seen over and around the base. These craft have been seen by some very credible people, including police officers, which have been unable to identify the crafts they saw, and the sheer amount of these sightings along with the claims of abduction make this area a UFO hotspot. The sightings of men in black in the area operating vehicles with government tags on them, along with the UFO sightings, leads us to believe that the government is hiding alien technology at this base. There have also been a ridiculous amount of cattle mutilation cases in the area, and these cases are easily distinguishable from predators simply attacking these animals because of the random organs that are usually removed, such as eyes and sexual organs, that appear to have been precision cut with a laser beam, while leaving the parts of the animals that predators would normally eat. This has been verified by police in the area like Bob Ward, who is a retired police officer that had patrolled the area near west of the Dugway Proving Grounds. During his career, he was unwilling to speak on these sorts of phenomenon, but finally opened up upon retiring. He himself has seen a UFO near Area 52, along with the many cases of cattle mutilation he has investigated, mostly involving horses. There are also signs all around the base's perimeter with rather strange warnings on them that indicate advanced laser technology is being tested here. The most common UFO sighting in this area is that of the TR-3B Black Manta Black Triangle, and however saucer-shaped crafts are definitely common as well, the TR-3B is just more often seen. Bob Ward claimed to have seen one of these saucer-shaped crafts himself. Bob claims the craft had 6 lights on it in a circle, and he estimated it was about 80 feet in diameter. Bob claimed to have taken a spotlight from his truck and shined it on the craft for 15 to 20 seconds. The craft then turned around and came back over him and the others that were with him, and this is when Bob and the others started getting nervous. The fact that the craft physically responded to Bob's spotlight is significant because it shows that this was not a drone, a balloon, or anything like that. Rather, it was intelligently controlled. The UFO then went back eastbound toward Area 52 and went over Ibapah Peak, which is a 14,000 foot tall summit, and was then followed by 2 F-16s from out of Nevada, which took the exact same path as the craft going east over Ibapah Peak towards Area 52. He also found 2 mutilated horses in the area the craft had been flying. The heads were decapitated, the eyes were gone, the lips were both gone, cut with laser precision. There were no bite marks or broken bones, and most importantly, there was no blood to be seen anywhere on or around the carcasses. Some very crazy stuff, right? So, in our opinion, there is definitely something alien-related going on at this base, but we will let you guys form your own opinions on what's actually going on at the Dugway Proving Grounds. One thing we can say is that the amount of UFO encounters, abductions, mutilations, and Men in Black encounters taking place around and over the Dugway Proving Grounds is simply astronomical, and there is definitely something strange going on around this base. Alright, so one last thing I want to tell you guys about is an announcement NASA is making this week regarding a major breakthrough in the search for extraterrestrial life on planets that could potentially harbor life. This announcement will be made on Thursday, and the new discovery comes from the team at the Kepler Space Telescope, who have been searching for extraterrestrial life since 2009. The telescope searches for Earth-sized planets in the habitable zones of nearby stars, and has subsequently found thousands of planets which could hold life. NASA officials said the discovery was made by researchers using machine learning from Google. The Kepler Space Telescope is responsible for finding 2,500 potentially habitable Earth-like planets out of around 3,000 total planets that we've discovered. Something you might not know is that scientists estimate that there is at least 40 billion of these Earth-like and potentially habitable planets in our Milky Way galaxy alone. I just want to tell you guys this so you know to anticipate this announcement. We will certainly be making a video covering the announcement when it finally is made, so keep an eye out for that. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today, but stay tuned because there is a lot more coming and we will have it posted very soon. If you liked the video, then please don't forget to smash that like button on your way out, share it, comment, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell. It really helps us out, and it will help you guys to stay up to date by sending you a message straight to your inbox every time we upload a video, and you can stay on the up and up with all the latest alternative news. If you have some UFO footage or evidence that you would like us to feature on the channel, then please email it over to us. Our email is down in the description, and we will get back back to you as soon as possible. Hopefully this announcement next week won't end in disappointment and we will get something substantial out of it. Also, I would like to say that if any of you guys get curious and decide to visit the Dugway Proving Grounds, please be careful because the area is extremely dangerous, and if you cross into the base, there are signs everywhere saying that the use of deadly force is authorized. If you have requests on what we should post to our next video, then please leave it down in the comments and we'll look into it. Thanks for your support, we really do love you guys, and don't forget to browse the channel if you're new and get yourself up to speed. As always, I'm Richard from Alien Bros. I'll see you guys again next video.